While I look forward to Pikmin 4, I spend a few hours on these cute HD remasters of the first two Pikmin. This video will only talk about the first one, since both can be purchased separately. Now that I've played it, I have that feeling that many times I don't mind being given the same game all over again. Since you are here, why don't you leave a like, a comment, or even better, subscribe to the channel for more gaming content just like this one. It's a massive help. Thanks a lot. The original version of this game is from 2001, and this can be seen in 2023 in the simplest aspects. The graphical quality doesn't keep up with the usual Switch games. The 3D controls are unnecessarily confusing, the game is short to complete, and there's a surprising lack of options for the player. Sometimes I miss when a game is just a game, but then I have a glass of water and that feeling is simply gone. It must not have been such a simple decision as it seems to combine all the games in the Pikmin franchise on the same console, especially 1 month before the launch of the new game. There is always the possibility of tiring the player, as if with an overdose of adorable dolls that we throw at everything we see. In addition to that fact, the policy of always releasing the same game is always subject to negative criticism. The aura that Switch has gained is undeniable, and any player, myself included, already expects to be able to access all of Nintendo's most iconic games on this system. It's funny that the console is far from being the only handheld that Nintendo has made, but it seems that this fame has stuck to it much more than any other, which gives a huge critical discount to these releases. To be honest, nowadays Pikmin no longer represents the novelty that it represented in 2001, and people already know what they are going for. But they go, because even without that feeling of newness, it is a game that is well worth playing. For newcomers to the franchise, in this game Captain Olimar crashes his spaceship on an unknown planet and has to gather pieces he lost during that crash landing. What he didn't expect was to find the adorable creatures he calls Pikmin to help him. Although I mentioned the short campaign, I didn't account for the fact that the now famous Captain Olimar has to play it more than once, as it will be extremely difficult to find all those pieces on the first try within the time limit set by the game. In a way, in a structure similar to a Metroidvania, where we have to go back and forth to find new Pikmin that allow us to go to new places and face new challenges, it makes it very easy to fail to solve some of the puzzles within the time limit, some of which were surprisingly difficult for what I was remembered from Pikmin 3. This difficulty also sent me back to my youth, when games were much less forgiving, and even if I'm speaking of different degrees of difficulty, I was expecting to play everything in a very relaxed manner, only to be present with the pleasant challenge. The intelligent way in which the levels are designed helps a lot with this, although one of the levels did not please me because it resorted to some easier tricks to get in our way, such as the use of multiple short spaces to artificially separate our group of Pikmin, or the apparently indiscriminately spreading of puddles of water to catch the unfortunate Pikmin that are intolerant to liquids. This wouldn't bother me if there wasn't the time urgency peeking over our shoulder, or if from a certain point on solving the puzzles didn't require the use of all of the different little animals. But with this welcome complexification, it didn't seem necessary to me to create more problems with the structure of the scenario, since the simple resolution of each one of the puzzles already seemed creative enough to entertain us. If even with this older design I had so much fun playing Pikmin, I can only imagine the impact that this game would have created in 2001 on the old GameCube. I'm one of those players who doesn't like repeated trading cards, so I always hesitate to have more than one version of a game at a time, but it felt so good to take the console under the porch and spend the afternoon and evening playing this game. See you next time, guys. Bye!